Caught wife flirting texting another man. Seeking advice. We have been married for 5 years. I know we've had our problems here and there, but those have always seemed to be on my end. I never really had a reason to think she was unhappy in our marriage, as she would always point out other couples' problems and say to me, "You see, our problems aren't that bad." That said, we never really actually communicate about things. We both come from painful pasts and have our walls up to a degree, with hers definitely way higher than mine. She's always been an independent person, which is one of the reasons I love her and fell in love with her in the first place, while I'm more open about feelings. If we have failed, I know it lies there in communication. We both work very demanding jobs. She recently started a new one that involves crazy hours and lots of overtime, to the point where we rarely see each other. At the outset, we actually did communicate and talked about how hard this was going to be and some of the things we would have to do to push through until her hours stabilized. I had a hard time with the separation from the beginning, but we both tried to make it work. Then it all seemed to get one-sided. Again, instead of communicating, I distanced myself, but as it turns out, she had already been texting this man before I began doing so. As I said, we both worked very demanding jobs, with mine being increasingly stressful over the past few years. I have been on a mental focused, self-reflection and personal growth mission to be the best person I can be, and I was focusing around dealing with that work stress for a while. I finally made the breakthrough around this time. It was during this week or two where I turned that attitude or focus towards our relationship. Should have done it sooner. I realized our lack of communication, realized the distance that seemed to be increasing between us, and asking, why am I not working to decrease it, even if I didn't think she was? So I sat us down 3 nights in a row and we had long heart-to-heart talks. Talked about our problems, what we wanted from ourselves and each other. I told her about my self-reflection and how I wanted to be the best husband I could. But even those conversations seemed to be one-sided, after which I started noticing red flags. The normal behaviors changed. Our interactions and text conversations changed. On nights I would stay up with her, she would always encourage me to go to bed. I saw her texting someone sitting in her car in the garage before she was going to work, and later when she returned home I saw a text on her home screen that said "miss you" from one of her old friends whom I know she doesn't have a relationship like that with. I went to investigate and noticed her passcode was changed. Later, when I asked her about it, she gave me a very sketchy story as to why. I knew something was up. The next night on Christmas Eve, we were sitting next to each other when she got a text, looked at it quick and put her phone right down. I memorized the time it came in, and again she suggested I go to bed early. While she slept, I went in her phone and saw no text from that time. I searched archived texts and found them. She was texting someone from her new job. Exchanging pictures, flirting heavily. I confronted her and we had a big blow up. She had this man's number saved under her old friend's name. Apparently she deleted them every night, but forgot to this time because I was distracting her. She says it was only flirting via text and when he would stop by her desk, and that it was only for a few weeks, even though I was able to see the text log from our carrier, and it went further back than she claimed. It went back to right before I sensed the distance. She says the attention from another man who's also married excited her, that she knew it was wrong from the beginning and all along the way. That when I tell her how beautiful she is or do something for her, it's to be expected because I'm her husband, but when he did it, it did something to her. She says she was in control the whole time and it never would have escalated to anything else. How do I believe that when she didn't stop it, she got caught? Plus she went out of her way to get his number escalated, and she was the one who initiated it with, "Are you just being polite or do you find me attractive? Hello, escalation." She claims it didn't mean anything, that she never wanted this man, and that she only continued while she tried to figure out why she was doing it. She also says she texted him ending it, but deleted those texts and his number as a way to show me she's cutting him out of her life, which again makes no sense to me. She seems genuine in her pain of what happened and wanting to work past this, but how can I believe her? She didn't stop it. She continued it until she got caught. When would it have ended and what would it have turned into? Like, I can understand part of where she's coming from if indeed she's telling the truth. I like when I get compliments from women, especially since my wife isn't that type to me at all, which makes this hurt even more since I'm that type to her. But my wife is always right there with me in my heart and my head, and it's not even a thought because I choose her. I struggle with self-esteem, and while she never has, I could understand if that was part of it. I know that happens to people. But again, you always come to a choice. And to consciously know it's wrong and you're hurting the person, as she has told me she knew from the beginning and thought of throughout, you say you love yet continue to do it? You have to continue to do it to figure out why? That's a part I'm really struggling with. Because as soon as she got caught and we were talking during our blow-up, she figures out why. Again, hello communication. It also hurts that not only did she not stop it, but even during and after our heart-to-heart she continued. She claims our talks changed how she texted him and that it was only on his side then, but the very last thing she wrote him was, "I've been thinking about you too. All day." I question her care, respect, consideration, and love for me. Let alone being completely devastated and heartbroken. I love her and part of me wants to try and make it work, wants to believe her. On top of all the pain and hurt that has to heal, how do you do that while trying to rebuild any semblance of trust while addressing the other relationship issues? Communication. How do I believe what she's saying actually happened when she no longer has my trust and she has no way to prove it since the texts are deleted? Including the one she claims ended it. How can I try to work at this when my mind will always imagine and question what actually happened? How can she build trust when we won't see each other enough and when she works with this man? I'm a cerebral person who thinks on things too much. I know if I try, I'm setting myself up for mental torture on top of what's already happening. TLDR, caught my wife lying and texting flirting with another man. Where to go from here? Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, the sad and harsh truth is, in this position she has no chance to win back your trust. It is like you said, she knew what she did, knew that it would hurt you, knew that she is risking her marriage and still made a decision that this affair, yes it was a affair, is more important to her. I would also bet that she never ended it with him. I mean, how could she and why should she? She sees him every day at work and they can probably write mails to each other at work as well. You would never know. This man, the guy that was more important to her than you or your marriage, is a constant part of her life due to her job, and as long as she stays at that job, this affair will continue. Be it either when they talk at the desk or when they share a coffee during their break. This affair still goes on. She made her decision about what is more important to her, and just because you found out, that hasn't changed. So it is on you to decide to stay with her, accepting that she has a affair partner at her workplace, or to go your separate way. I bet that she hasn't offered you to look for a new company to work for so that she isn't in a daily contact with her affair partner, right? Even if she said that it was only a affair by text, why do you believe her? If they had the chance to take it further, then you better expect that they did so as well. So please go to a doctor and get tested for STDs. But the biggest reason why I don't believe that this will work out is that she never came clean completely. She even lied to you about how long that affair was ongoing when you found out about it. That moment when you found out was her best chance to be honest with you and show you that you could trust her, but once again she made a decision against you and lied. I believe you that you love her, but the sad truth is that she doesn't feel the same about you. She might love you, but there are other things that are more important to her. You are worth so much more than to be treated this way.